Well, hello and welcome to the last episode of Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. Last episode, don't get excited, just for 2024. We'll be back in 2025.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Good news, bad news, right? Anyway, it's been fun. It's been an interesting year in real estate and fun doing this. And I'm Diane Davidson, that's Bill Weidecker. And we're here one last time. Probably you want to put it on pause if the whole family isn't gathered around to celebrate the holiday, ready to watch or listen.
Remember Dave Letterman used to say, phone the neighbors, wake the kids, get everybody into the television room.
There we go. So we're going to quickly do the November numbers for New Hampshire. You're going to do those. The year-to-date numbers, and then just reflect a little bit on real estate in 2024.
Yeah,
Some predictions for 25, right?
I was asked recently, what is it that you know now that you didn't know at the beginning of the year as it relates to real estate? So maybe that will be something for us to
Ponder.
We could ponder. You could ponder, and then we could answer.
Correct.
Great.
Great.
Because I already know what I'm going to say.
I know what I'm going to say.
Okay, well then
All right,
good.
then.
Well, what is it that you know now? But why don't we just get to that?
Do we start with that? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I know that, what's the S word, the settlement. So the settlement, the National Association of Realtors settlement that was proposed in March and ratified and took effect in New Hampshire in the middle of July and the rest of the country in the middle of August, created great clarity and great opportunity for consumers and for real estate agents, and I think raised the bar in our industry. And that's what I know now. I think people were afraid, and now people are consumers and professionals, realtors are very confident and optimistic about our relationships and the way we do business going forward. That's what I know now.
Yeah, I think the reason, and when you talk about this settlement, I think the largest reason that the National Association of Realtors and the majority of the large real estate franchises all settled, and in a handful of them actually lost the case and then appealed and then settled, like the National Association of Realtors did, is that this puts a stop to future copycat cases, which means if you're watching any of the news programs, it doesn't take long where someone says, did you buy the following product? Did you use this? Do you have mesothelioma? There's all of these.
Bausch and Lomb contact lenses.
Right, but that's all of these copycat cases that echo onward, and this puts us. So it's no surprise that most of these organizations wanted to settle then when they started to realize the mounting of a settlement costs money, and then even if you prevail, there can be copycat cases. This puts an end to that. But also, for us, I don't think it was much of a change. Because the way you and I and our people at Fine Homes Group conduct business is it was always a frank discussion of what the fees were and where the money went.
Correct.
And so there were not a lot of surprises there by our clients and us going forward. It's pretty easy. For me, what I know now that I didn't know in January is I anticipated, because of last year being such a rugged year with this lack of inventory, that it could be even worse. It could get a little better, but I felt like, is there anything going to change this with interest rates kind of still hovering in the 7% range and people just freezing? And so what I know now is that it wasn't so bad.
Right. Yep.
It was a better year than 2023, and also that interest rates did get better, which was hard to know. It's all based on employment and inflation, and those things did get better. So every year, I'm typically pretty optimistic about the upcoming year in the market, and last year I wasn't. So I think I went into January very apprehensive about the year, and then my wish, or what did sort of come true, and that is that more people were putting their homes on the market, and so it broke the ice jam a little bit. We still got a ways to go. Yeah,
we do. Yep.
To give people an idea of what the market looked like in New Hampshire, because I think that's what the majority of you want to know, and we did have more closed sales. Now I have the numbers through November. There's this lag of a few weeks. So by the time you get this around Christmas, you'll be saying, what does December look like? We can give you an idea based on what the pending sales
yeah.
look like. So closed sales are up 3.5% year to date. That's going to go up a little with the December closings. We're going to have a better December in terms of closings, and here's why we know that. Diane and I were looking at the pending sales, and pendings in November were up 23.8%. Now pendings mean this. Those are properties that are under agreement scheduled to close. They don't all close, and they don't all close in the following month, but many do. And so we're up 3.5% year to date through November, and for the month of December up 23.8. Year to date, the pendings were 5.2%. So here's what you look at. That's a much bigger number, which means that'll fall into the closed sales. So we're anticipating 4 to 5% in closed units in New Hampshire this year over last year. So a better year for sure, and yet not the best. But I anticipate that next year is going to be better than this year. So we're climbing our way out of it, and yet we still need inventory. Here's the takeaway: the month's supply is back down under 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Meaning, we explain that each time because we have new listeners or
well, you tell me.
Well, if nothing else came on the market to buy, it would take that long, 1.9 months, for all of the properties to be absorbed.
Yeah.
And typically, over the last many decades, 6 months was considered where the pendulum swung from. If there's a 6 month supply, greater than 6 month supply, it was a buyer's market. Less than 6 months supply was a seller's market. That's shifted a bit in the last year or so. People will quote but the people will quote 4 to 6 months or 4 or 5 months. So 6 months seems like it seems as though the conventional wisdom now has changed, new conventional wisdom, and that we're looking more at 4 or 5 months supply where it swings.
Yeah, and I was at a conference and I was like, I don't think we'll ever get back to six month supply. And this other realtor said to me, "Don't say that. Don't say that." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because in my market," I was saying the same thing of Floridian, and he said, "We're back. We're back to 6 months."
And then some.
Yeah. And so, the point is that when we make judgment calls about the market going forward, it is really subject to the news of the last 30 to 60 days.
Or minutes.
And subject to the news of the next 30 to 60, because markets can shift quickly.
Yeah. And the National Association of Realtors predicts how many sales next year?
4.5 million.
Up from what this year?
About 4.
So that's a pretty significant increase.
Yes. And the fact of the matter is the market kind of went from 6 million units in 2021 to 4 million. You go, that's a third off the table. And so it really is, 4 million units used to be considered a really good market, but that was a while ago. And now there's more people in the country and there's more demand and so 4 million doesn't feel, there's also more realtors.
I was just going to say that.
So anyway, I do expect also that affordability, prices are going to go up in the state of New Hampshire. And I think they're going to go up 5 or 6%. Now, year to date this year, they are up 9.6%. Call it 10. So why only 4 or 5%? Because the prices now, your median sales price year to date is $515,000. $500,000 is the median, meaning there's half of that's over $500,000. That's just an unbelievable thing. And rates are moderating a bit. They're still in the mid to high 6s, and they might moderate a little bit more. So if they moderate a little bit more, but not much at all, how can affordability get better?
I think I know.
What is it?
Are people making more money?
They're making more money. They're making $10,000 more in the last 2 years than they were before. And I think that's going to continue. Now, again, we're on the razor's edge, right? You're trying to job growth, employment, unemployment, and inflation all play a role in this.
Right.
But I think we're I want to touch wood and say I hope that we are going to have a soft landing with the economy. If we had to sort of grade the Fed so far, I'd say that they
good
worked
job.
really hard and
Yep.
doing a good job.
Yep, agree.
But you know, it's like third marking period. We don't have the final grades in yet, so we'll see. My mother used to always say, "We'll see.
We'll see.
All questions will be answered, just not by
Still
me."
have my report cards.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good bow on the year. I do believe that the market will always be inventory driven, and that inventory needs to be professional. When it comes on the market, you need professionals to manage the strategy in and around it, and I don't think anybody does it better than us and our team. And that's as sincere of a comment as I can make, because I don't believe anybody cares more. And so if you're going to move in 2025, we want to talk to you.
Or 2026 for that matter.
Whenever,
ever.
Hey, we want your home to sell in 2025, but if you don't want it to sell in 2025, we're willing to wait, right?
Never retiring.
No, how can we? We're having too much fun.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, it's been a great year, and we look forward to the next great year. So
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for playing, thanks for watching, and happy holidays.
Peace, everybody.